right, folks, you know what time it is. It is time to get into this week's review of The Walking Dead World Beyond. This time, we're going to be reviewing episode 4, Family is a 4-letter word. So, folks, if this is your first time ever checking me out, I hope you subscribe. I want to see you back each and every week. Jumping in the comments, let me know your thoughts and predictions for each and every week's episode. But these are spoiler-free reviews, which means I'm just here to get you hyped, get you excited. That way, when you check it out, you're feeling just like me, surprised and just wowed by what may be happening, or bored, if it's a bad episode. But episodes have been pretty good, and so has this one. And this has been one of those episodes that I really like, because when you talk about theories and predictions, this one has it all for you. There's so much that happens in this episode that really makes you think. And I don't think there's no other way I can describe this episode but saying that this was a big game of chess. And I'm going to explain why. But this episode picks up immediately where the last week's episode left us off at, where we saw Hulk and Huck arrive at the perimeter. And you're just like, oh, that's a surprise, considering all of the pressure and stress that Huck has been under and surveillance. Everyone, she's trying to get back accustomed to being back at the CR. And, Hope was basically like, look, I'm not waiting much longer. I need to see my sister. We need to bring her back. So is their dad, Leo, like, I know you've been lying to them. I need you to bring my girls. So you have Huck, who has that guilty conscience on her shoulders, but at the same time, her mother's like, well, this is kind of the plan. You're a soldier. This is what you were supposed to do. So do your part. Get back to your regular life. Now that you are able to be back on campus, essentially, you could go on with things now that you're not on the road no more. But yes, as we see, they have arrived at the perimeter. And this is very unexpected. So everybody now is scrambling for cover and trying to plan their interactions and being smart about them, because any wrong move here can jeopardize everything. Yourself, the safety of others, the whole agreement that the perimeter town has with CR. So it's why I say it's a game of chess, because you're looking to see what everyone's move is going to be and what your next move is going to be. And everyone's trying to make the right move, and also trying to decide what others may do. And while this is, you have to kind of think about this here now. Like, Huck and Hope are here. Iris clearly sees them. Does she go talk to them, or does she kind of lay back to kind of get a feel for what's happening here? And then when you think about everybody else who's here right now, like Elton and Hope, they haven't quite talked since the whole thing came out about his mother and her confessing, and how that at once two people who had the utmost trust for one another, their interaction has been shattered, and now what do you think of one another, so what happens when they actually interact, and how would that look like? What would it feel like? What would it be like? And then Huck, who's no longer being called Huck no more, because forget all that, Jennifer, and with her being there, how does that put the entire town in danger? Her being there, her mother's going to be like, well, why'd you go there at night, unannounced, in your military clothes? You wasn't sent on a mission. What are you up to, And now that gets them being suspicious, snooping around. And we all know who's there. Felix, for one, who is 1,000% not on Jennifer's good side, or she's not on his good side at all. He doesn't trust him, and has no reason to trust her. And you have to think about this. When you lose the trust of an adult, it's way more severe than when a kid loses the trust for an adult. Because sometimes that can be, the interpretation could be different. But as an adult to an adult, that's serious. And yes, Felix is not with it. We see a side of him, side of aggression we haven't seen from him thus far. And then not to mention, because Will is there too, somebody that they don't even know he's alive. That's an extra level of responsibility that Felix has in order to protect him. But ultimately, when you think with all of the information that Will has, all of the information that Jennifer has, and then all of the information that Felix has, the three of them having a conversation together can really start to, unravel a lot of the secrets and putting pieces of the puzzle together to truly figure out what the intentions are for CR. Because even Jennifer is a little bit suspicious about her mother's doings. And I mean, we see that explored a lot in this episode. Like, a lot. I mean, let's read the synopsis really quick. Tensions rise as the group questions past events and the plans for the future. Things get explosive as someone's ability and loyalties are put to a test. A surprising discovery is made. So that's that, And then again, looking at the members of the people who are here at the perimeter. Now, Percy is a very interesting one because we know Percy has no love for her, especially what happened to one of my favorite characters, Uncle Tony. His eyes is set on her. And what would happen when he gets his chance with her? That can go a lot of ways here. And one way I could think of wreaks revenge, so you never know. But then going back to the sisters, Iris and Hope, it's a reunion for them, and they got a lot to talk about. But also, this may not go as smooth as you think it's going to go, because you have Iris who's kind of like, hey, so how's it going for you? And then if Hope is responding back like, well, I'm just kind of chilling, meeting friends, drinking, and all this other stuff, she's like, wait, you're doing that, and I'm doing everything in my possible power to get to you, and you're just chilling, And of course, they both want to be with their dad, but how do they do that when no one trusts Jennifer and her intentions? What she may be truthful about and what she may be lying about, So now this is interesting because, they want Iris and Felix to come back with them, but they don't trust them. So it's not going to go as smooth as they thought it was. Whatever their mission was in order to come to that town, it's not going to be as easy as they think it's going to be. Everyone is airing out their thoughts about one another, and it gets messy. Now, Aisha is basically being a therapist to Elton. Elton does have a lot going on, rightfully so, but the conversations that they have is some of the most important things that happen in this episode. Quite frankly, there's a huge revelation that is uncovered, that is discussed between the two of them. And it may be one of the biggest things to come from out of this episode. And there's a small scale of what this means, but there's also a larger possibility of what this could mean. So you have to really key into the conversations that they have, because on two separate scenes, they really reveal some very important details here. I'm not saying nothing else, but it could mean a lot for a lot of characters, And then obviously there's one common goal here. I mean, besides the girls wanting to get back to their dad, there's still a member of the group missing. That's Silas, who Silas is basically like, where's he at? And information comes out about it, and some people are kind of strategizing how that information is beneficial, what can they do, etc., etc. But we do see Silas basically still doing his job, working, but he's also fitting in some. He's getting accustomed to how the system works here, being working for this part of CR, and what this may mean in regards to his freedom or seeing his friends. So he's kind of kicking back, trying to get into his own groove, shall I say. But we'll kind of see how this all plays out, because he's still the last member of the group that's not back with everybody. And then ultimately, everyone is still trying to come to terms with Omaha being gone. So that's also a big, overshadowing, grieving issue that everyone's dealing with. But folks, the last 5 minutes of this episode is really important, especially for her. And it's brutal. It's truly brutal and emotional, but it's super important for that character. And I can't wait for you all to see it. So you have to, you're going to have to wait to the very end of the episode to see how it plays out, because it's something for sure. But folks, jump in the comments. Let me know your thoughts and your predictions for this week's episode. And as always, stay tuned for more reviews, all reviews for the Walking Dead universe. Thank you for tuning in, folks. I'll see you around next week. Big gold bell.